Ken, thank you for joining us.
Matt, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
What brings you to Brussels?
In part to meet with the folks here at AEBIOM. I am with Enviva. We are the world's largest producer of wood pellets. We'll produce about 2 million metric tons of wood pellets this year, all at plants in the southeast United States, and we'll export all of them to customers in Europe who will use them primarily to generate electric power. So we have a very strong interest in working with AEBIOM and working with our customers here in Europe to ensure, and we want to make sure that we can communicate to our customers and to our various stakeholders in Europe that we produce wood pellets sustainably and deliver carbon benefits.
How do you go about sourcing all of that amount of wood?
Well, we have 7 plants in the southeastern United States. We do not own any land, so we have foresters who work with literally thousands of small and large landowners across the southeast. And in every case, we work with landowners who are already harvesting their trees, sending the high value, vast majority of their wood to make furniture, to make wood pallets for other uses, and we take the low grade and leftover products. But it is a very extensive and complex process to develop that network, to identify wood that is appropriate for wood pellet production. And then what we've done is to make sure that we take some unique steps to verify that the wood we use is low-grade leftover wood that can't be used for other purposes, that is appropriate for producing wood pellets, and that in fact what we're doing does not have a negative impact on the forest where we work, and that our wood pellets deliver very, very significant greenhouse gas reduction benefits.
You're about to launch Track and Trace. Tell us a little bit about that.
We have a program that is unique. It's the first time it's been done in the U.S. forest products sectors. What we've done is gone to all this network of thousands of landowners and asked them to give us a very extensive description of the wood that they're supplying us with. And now we can tell you precisely for every tree, or every truckload of trees that comes into one of our plants. We can tell you the precise geographic location it came from, the type of forest it was, the age of the wood, and we have a very specific, detailed profile of our wood supply. We have that information again because since our customers are in Europe, many of them will never come to America, will not see our practices. We've been able to take that information, translate it into an interactive map, which I'll have on our website, so anyone will be able to look at where our plants are located and see very precisely where those plants get the wood that we use to make our pellets. That's very important because we want to be very transparent. We want all our stakeholders, our customers, regulators, legislators, and folks in the community at large to understand that we are having a positive impact on the forest where we work. We do not pose, our work making wood pellets does not pose any threat to the health of the forest. In fact, it's supportive of forest health, and that the pellets we produce deliver very significant greenhouse gas benefits.
There's no call on you to actually do this. Why are you doing it?
There are 2 reasons. Number one, we think that our customers and our regulators, our legislators in Europe want that. They want all the information that they can get to understand that when we offer wood pellets that they really are sustainable. And frankly, it's good business to do that. The more information that we can offer our customers, the more that we can tell them about the benefits of the product that we produce, I think the better it is for them and for us.
Some people suggest that it's not sustainable. How do you counter that argument?
Well, happily, first of all, we don't have to counter that argument alone. There's a vast, vast trove of very sound science that supports the notion that sustainably produced wood pellets, like those that Enviva makes, delivers very, very significant carbon reductions. We also have very, very significant support at the highest levels of the U.S. government and at governments around the world that basically will tell you on the record officially that wood pellet production in the Southeast United States is economically beneficial and also environmentally beneficial. There's a wonderful quote. There's a gentleman who's the chief economist for the U.S. Department of Agriculture who wrote recently that any industry that can create jobs, reduce greenhouse gases, and protect forests sounds too good to be true, but in fact the wood pellet industry in the U.S. Southeast is doing just that. So we're happy to defer to senior officials in the U.S. government and simply work with them to reinforce that message.
What more can be done to promote that positive message?
I think at Enviva we're taking several steps. Again, number one, I think what the industry, we need to be keenly aware of very sound science and have it immediately available to people who want to know it. We need to be, when it comes to forest sustainability, we need to be keenly aware of all the data from official government sources, from the UN to our national governments, and be able to have that data available for people so that it's very understandable and can be delivered on a moment's notice. So we need to understand the official sources, but beyond that in Enviva, what we are doing to try and go beyond requirements is, as I've mentioned, we have our track and trace program. We also have a program called the Enviva Forest Conservation Fund. It is a 10-year, $5 million initiative where we are endowing nonprofit organizations that want to conserve working forests and preserve sensitive areas. We are making donations to folks like the Nature Conservancy to assist their conservation efforts. And in tandem with that, we've asked independent academic experts to identify sensitive forest ecosystems that might not be regenerating properly. And they've identified in the areas where we work 4 particular kinds of forest ecosystems. And they've said, we're not quite sure what their long-term health is. And we've said, great, we will not accept wood from any of these areas. Again, this is not something that the law or anyone else requires us to do. It's consulting with experts who've said the best practice would be not to accept wood from these sensitive areas. We've said we're not going to accept wood from these areas. We are going to work with nonprofit conservation organizations to try and conserve those sensitive areas. And also with our track and trace system, we have a database that enables us to ensure that we are not taking wood from areas where we don't want to take wood from.
So with all these practices in mind that you're forging new ground with, do you think they will become industry standards?
What Enviva has found is that programs like the Enviva Forest Conservation Fund and track and trace are not only the right thing to do, they are a very good thing for us to do for our business. The more information we have about what we do, the more information we can share about what we do, the more confident our customers and our regulators and our legislators are in our practices. And so we've found it to be a very sound investment, and we'd certainly recommend that anyone look at this, at processes like this, because the more transparent we can be, the more information we can share, the more confidence our stakeholders have in what we're doing.
All right. Ken, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Matt. It's a pleasure to be here.